Maak ook Marcel weer zitten. Vind ik wel leuk.
So, it's a small group. It's almost me, myself, and I. So it's me, myself, and I. And of course, you guys. So today's class will be a little bit more focusing on how to do your chaturanga. Because many times if I see people going from the first stage, which is onto your knees, and then knees, chest, chin, this is totally possible. This is the easiest one. Don't lean too much into your chin. And then slither forward, and hands are next to the chest or lower ribs, or the ribs just below your chest. And then you roll up. With the cobra, you always keep your elbows bent. You really extend through the toes, so you have nice tight legs and kneecaps are lifted. So never this one. You see I don't have a neck. We don't want to have no neck. So you rotate and your elbows stay bent. Keep pushing through the toes. So that is the first option that you have. Then if you build the strength in your upper shoulders and also in the abdominal wall, but I have to say with this knee, chest, chin, so 8-angle pose, 8-point pose, you will release your belly a lot. If you go to the second stage, you will go onto your knees, stepping back in plank, and then place the knees. Then also here you have to roll over your kneecaps, and then you point your tailbone in between the bone structure from your thighs. You depress your shoulders into the socket, so don't leave them forward, into the socket, so you have more room for your neck. Tighten the belly nicely in, Uddiyana Bandha, and then you lower down. So this way, you leave this one out of the equation. Yeah? So from here, you step back, knees go down, maybe lift the toes up, shoulders depress, one piece down. Undo the toes, point them, and then cobra again. So see that focus on my hands where they are. So they're not in front of me. You need to shift forward, whatever you do. Then, if you build up the strength over time in your shoulders, your abs, and of course also the legs, because it's a whole body connection movement, then you can go back, like stepping back. And what you see then most of the time, I'm now leaning on my toes and my hands, but I want to have more weight onto my hands. So I shift my heels forward, I depress my shoulders, I look forward so my neck is in line with the vertebrae of my spine, and then I go down. Then untuck the toes, you can go in cobra for the first couple times. Or, if you're a little bit warmer, you step back to high plank, and then you hover. But of course that's more muscle tension, and in this case tension is good. So heels move forward, you look forward, you travel forward, and you go down halfway. Then you roll over the toes or tuck the toes under. And now you can do your upward facing dog with straight arms. Pull the elbow kids forward, gaze up at the tip of the nose, and then you roll back. Or you place your feet back. So, that means that we're going to do a couple of drills from that one, just to let you feel the difference. If you see a couple of doggies running around, then they're doggies. We do the many downward facing dogs, so maybe they go onto your mat. And if you have cats, they come onto your mat too. If you have kids, they come up to your back too, or onto your mat. If you have a funny partner, then probably you will be ending up on your mat as well. So let's be playful. We work with the things we have. Don't get annoyed if something happens what's not supposed to happen, and just smile. Yeah? It's real life. So, that being said. Yes! Doggy disappeared from the mat. So just keep in mind that depression of the shoulders, so make it safe for the shoulders so it can vary the weight of your upper body. Press them down and reach the chest forward, and the gaze goes forward as well. So you shift forward to go down. So the basic line is forward and down. So if you hear lower down, I don't say the forward and lower down, so I miss the forward. Maybe I say the skew now a lot of times. So you get a lot of strength into your shoulders and also the latissimus dorsi and everything in the upper body. Now we start, but you just start like easy. There was just an intro. So thumbs are touching, right hand underneath the left hand, and make a tall spine. Don't arch the back too much. Let the tailbone be pointing towards the floor in between those heels, and immediately you feel that the belly draws slightly in. And when you're sitting here, hug the inseams of the legs together. So like a zipper, zip it up. Then you are sitting nice and tall, and then activate your Mula Bandha, which is your root lock. Your root lock needs to be activated to keep the energy inside the body. And then when you activate Uddiyana Bandha, it will draw the energy up so you can use it. So how do you activate Mula Bandha? Sit bones move towards one another. The muscles are moving, not really the bone structure. And the pubic bone and the tailbone, move them together. Move them together and then lift it up towards the belly button. Then the belly button takes over, 2 fingers below it. Draw it in towards your spine. Hug still the knees in. And then relax your buttocks down. Don't relax the Mula Bandha. Then from here, move the shoulders up to your earlobes. Rotate them back and let them sink down. So now you have also an open chest. The gaze is nicely in front of you, maybe through the tip of the nose or something, a little spot on the floor. And focus on your breathing. The inhales come easy, but the exhales be fluid. So hugging the inseams of the legs will take you a little bit more into your body, into the center of the body, which is the spine. And of course, there's more centers of the body, because if you take the arm, then this is not the center of the arm, but then your bone structure is always the center of this arm, the left arm in this case, and then the right one. With the legs, it's the same. So sometimes you want to tighten the muscles around the bone structure to the center of the leg. But now this time we hug everything together into the center of your body. Inhales become a little longer. Crown of the head is getting taller. Draw the Uddiyana Bandha in when you empty out the oxygen from the lungs. Let the belly slightly inflate. When you inhale, then bring the hands towards your heart. Bow your head towards your heart, maybe even closing the eyes. Just exploring the inner body. How do you feel? Physically, mentally, but also emotionally. Just notice. A little bit wobbly. Do you feel strong, or do you feel maybe a little bit weak? It's okay. Just be here, now, and present in this moment. That's what counts. Then from here, place your intention, Let it arise, picture it, feel it, seal it into your heart and into your hands. And then from here, move those arms upward on an inhale, blink the eyes open. At the exhale, open those arms nice and wide. From here, inhale, turn the hand palms up, lifting, gaze goes up. Exhale, hands go down, circle them down. Hand palm flip up, inhale. Get more room in between your ribcage and your hips. Exhale, turn the hand palms down and move down. Inhale, take a deep breath in, get taller. Exhale, let it go down, shoulders sink. Inhale one more time, lifting up, get tall as possible, root your tailbone down. Exhale, hands through heart center. Move the hands in front of you. Coming into tabletop, open the knees like hip width apart, so straight underneath your hips. Just working the spine, rounding the spine. Puff the upper back up. Then tuck the tailbone under, draw the belly in, shoulders depress. Inhale, tailbone lifts, ripple forward to the mid-back, upper back, and then reach the chest forward, gaze at the tip of the nose. Exhale, head goes first, round your upper back, mid-back, tailbone tucks under, press the floor. Inhale, arching from the tailbone, mid-back. Yes, lifting, gaze goes up. One more time, head first, puff your upper back, push the floor away, draw that belly in. Inhale, arch the tailbone, shoulders into the sockets, heart comes forward in through your upper arms, and then come to neutral. So now from here, you're just going from side to side. Right hip to your right shoulder to your right hip. Other side. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You can do it slower. You can do it faster. It depends on your breath, but don't go too fast. Feel the crunching of the left side body if you're turning the left shoulder. Feel the crunching of the right hip and right side of the body when you go to the right shoulder. Maybe even looking to the hip that's moving towards your shoulder. Get a little bit more curvature in. Belly still draws in. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha activated. So it's like twisting your tail, if you would have one. We have a tiny one. And then go back. One more time to the left side. One more time to the right side. And we end with the left side. So, curl the toes under. Move your buttocks towards your heels. Open your hands slightly wider than shoulder width, so you have no fuzz if you have the hands underneath. And you go for chaturanga, I find my rib cage. And then my shoulders, they shrug up and I get this short neck. So open the hands a little wider, that when you go down, your elbows point back and you move forward. Yeah. So from here, buttocks towards the heels, lifting up the tailbone, and see if the legs can become straight or straight-ish. So don't go for this rounded spine and then straight legs. Now you have most of the weight onto your hands, and that's really too much. You want to get decompression of the spine, so bend the knees, move your hips back and up. And then the second is the limbs. And then you're going to see if you can straighten the legs as best as you can today. So if they're not straight, probably at the end of the class they will be much more straight than they are now. Whew. Then from here, on your inhale, you reach forward, shoulders depressed. Hello, doggy. Then from there, moving back, hips hike up and back, and roll the heels back towards the floor. They don't have to touch. Turn the elbow pits forward. And then from here, moving forward again, shoulders depress, and feel the line. If you have troubles here, your hips sink, or your hips go up higher than your shoulders, then place your knees. Now hike the hips up and move back in downward facing dog. Inhale, easy flow coming forwards, tighten the belly, move the hip points towards one another, and point your tailbone towards the bone structure of your thighs. Now lift the hips up and come back. Getting a little disturbance here, but that's fine. Try to keep in focus in the class. But it looks funny. So now when you shift forward, going forward, first option is plant the knees, so bend them. And then knees, chest, chin onto the floor. Now untuck the toes. Slither forward, so press into the floor with those hands, lay the ribcage down, and then see where your hands are. My hands are below my chest. If that's the case, you're good. Depress the shoulders into the sockets. Now lead with the shoulders, rotating them back, and then lifting up with the strength of the back muscles. And then your head comes up. So don't lead it with the head. So lead with the chest, and move up. Then through the knees, come back, curl the toes, and then lift your buttocks high, nice and high. From here again, shifting forward, option 2. If option 2 is available, just check shoulders into the sockets. Bend your knees, keep leaning forward, maybe even lift the toes off the floor. Keep the shoulders into the sockets, move forward and down. Lay all the way down. Untuck the toes, place them onto the floor, extend those legs, and then from here, keep the nose pointing towards the floor, lifting, and then the head comes up last. Exhale through the knees, toes tuck, and come back into your downward facing dog. So just be honest with yourself. How did it feel? Did you feel more your shoulders? Do you dip into your hips, dipping towards the floor? Then stay with option 1. As long as the hands are nicely back towards the chest or a little bit lower, then you're good. Now we go for option 3, and then you shift forward. Be strong in your abdominal wall, looking forward. Now press the heels forward and lower all the way down. Chest lands first. Ribcage lands first. Tops of the toes go down, lift your kneecaps, and then rotate the shoulders back into the sockets and down your back. Head comes up last. Exhale, you can come through the knees. It's a little lighter. And then lift back into your downward facing dog, maybe tiny step forward. Option 4. Shifting forward, looking forward into high plank. Tailbone in between your thigh bones or pointing towards your heels, so not up. Get your belly involved. Then push the heels forward, keep looking forward, lower halfway. Now, take the toes, point them, and then lift up, head comes up last. Exhale, moving back through the knees or rolling over to the toes. Take a tiny step closer with your feet towards your hands. Do not get all the way here, that is too much. So you need to take that step closer to be in balance. So from here, shift yourself forward, shoulders into the socket. Be strong, don't dip your hips. Look forward, lean forward, go forward and down. Shoulders, shoulders. And I'm coming up into cobra or upward facing dog, that's your option. Head comes up last, don't forget. Draw those shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, move back to your downward facing dog. One more time, I'm watching. Shifting forward. On the inhale, then reset, exhale, lower down, any way you like it. Inhale, coming up into cobra or upward facing dog. Make sure your kneecaps are lifted, also in cobra, also in upward facing dog. Retract, so slide those hands onto the floor towards the back. That will lift your chest a little more and engage your upper back a little more. Okay, one more time, I like. Shifting forward, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down, halfway or all the way. Inhale, rolling over the toes. And cobra or upwards facing dog. Exhale, shift your hips back and up. Yes, that looks good. So be honest with yourself. You don't want to have something happening in your shoulders. So take one of the 4 options that you have. You will build the strength over time. So you feel the difference? Yeah. And then we need to smooth it out. So we need to find because it's one breath, one movement. Now I let you go shift forward on an inhale. And then I let you lower. But normally when you're from here, up, halfway lift, then this is an inhale. And I go back. This is all one exhale. Then inhale coming up. And then exhale coming back down to downward facing dog. So remember, sometimes you have to accelerate the movement because there's no breath in between. If you need breath in between, then you will be slower, which is fine. But let it be cautious. So then if you want to shift forward, take another breath in. If you go down, then it's exhale. So basically the thumb rule is if you go down, you exhale. Because underwater, you cannot breathe in. We're not a fish. Yeah? So we go down, we exhale. If you go up and you lengthen, you inhale. That works 95% of the time. There are 5% is different, but I know that, so don't worry about that. I will talk. So we start with sun salutations. So from here, place your hands, maybe all fours. That's the nicest way to start. Knees underneath your hips, hands a little wider because we go towards sun salutations. And then bring the hips. So this distance that you have now, you go in downward facing dog, is the distance perfectly made for your body. So remember this feel. I'm not standing all the way there. If I go out of my chaturanga, which is high to low plank, my feet will be there. So I need to take my step closer to be in the perfect alignment for my body and also for your body. On your inhale, looking forward. Exhale, stepping right, left to the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shin bones, lengthen that spine forward and the crown also. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, arms come sideways, all the way up, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, hands through heart center, let it go to Samasthiti. Inhale, arms rise, lift up the kneecaps, tailbone lengthens down. Exhale, swan dive it down, feel the back muscles activating. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, swan dive back up, all the way lengthen. Ribcage away from pubic bone. Exhale through heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive it all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Hands can be on the floor too. Exhale, forward fold. Belly in. Inhale, root to rise, arms sideways, lengthen. Exhale, through heart center, Samasthiti. Lift your kneecaps. Inhale, we continue. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, shoulders away from ears. Exhaling, all one exhale, stepping back and shift the weight forward, lower down, all the way or halfway. Inhale, coming up into your upward facing dog. Lengthen the legs. Exhale, move back, downward facing dog. This is your resting pose. It doesn't feel when you start with yoga, but this is your resting pose. Press the hips back and up. So the hips move back and slightly up. Then you rotate the triceps towards your shin bones. So the elbow pit comes slightly more forward. Then you have the tendency to lean more onto your pinky side. Don't. Plant those hands, the base of the thumb, and then turn without even turning those hands. So corkscrew the hands. The right hand goes clockwise, and the left hand goes counterclockwise. And then you feel your shoulder girdle. Ah, now draw that belly in. Empty, empty lower belly. This is 5. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, stepping forward. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold, release down. Inhale, root to swan dive and coming all the way up. Lengthen tailbone. Exhale, Samasthiti. Now on breath. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back and lower down, but also move forward. Oh, confusing. Inhale, coming into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, moving back, downward facing dog. Take a tiny step. 1. Release the neck. 2. Release the jaw. 3. Steady gaze onto your knees, toes, or the belly button. 4 and 5. On your next inhale, bring the gaze forward, bend the knees. On the exhale, you step, float forward. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold, release. Root to rise, arms sideways, lengthen. Exhale, hands through Samastitihi. Inhale, sweep those arms sideways, lengthen tailbone down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, tailbone back, crown forward. Exhale, plant hands, step back and lower. Inhale, moving forward, upward facing. Exhale, coil that belly in, downward facing. 1, release, settle in. 2, 3, think about your elbow pits and your triceps, move them back. 4, and 5. On your next inhale, bring the gaze forward, bend slightly your knees, step, hop or float. Halfway lift on your inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, root to rise, arms sideways, looks very good. And exhale, Samastitihi. Bend your knees. Inhale, scrape those fingers. Exhale, coming to a forward fold, hands down first and then straighten the knees as much that you can. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, stepping back or hopping back. Lower down and forward. Inhale, coming up into Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, moving back, Downward Dog. Left foot steps in front of the right, 45 degrees, right foot next to the right thumb. Arms come horizontal and up on the inhale. Warrior 1. Exhale, frame the front foot, stepping back. Shift forward and lower. Inhale, coming up into Cobra or Upward facing. Exhale, moving back to your downward facing. Right foot steps 45 degrees, left foot steps forward next to the left thumb. Rise those arms in the inhale. Hips forward. Exhale, moving and flowing it back. Left step next to right, forward and down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, move back, downward facing. Breathe. Release the neck. Find the attention points that you need to have. Triceps moving back towards your shin bones. Don't dip into your shoulders. Press the floor away. Make the corkscrew action with the hands to activate your shoulder girdle. Draw that belly nicely and deep in, so you have this emptiness in the lower belly. Decompression of the spine. One more cycle of breath. And then on your next inhale, gaze comes forward, bend the knees. Exhale, hop forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come in Utkatasana chair pose, how we started, Surya Namaskara. Exhale, Samastitihi. Bend knees. Inhale, sweep arms. Exhale, fold forward, hands down, then straighten legs, fold over legs. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, step, hop or float. Lower immediately down. Inhale, coming up into your upward facing. Exhale, moving to downward facing. Left foot in front, right foot next to the right thumb. Arms sweep up onto the inhale, keep the front knee nice and bent. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back and go into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, move to downward facing. Right foot in front, left foot steps forward. Arms sweep up on the inhale, back to foot, really heavy on the floor. Exhale, stepping back and lowering forward and down. Inhale, coming up into your upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. And then your home base. If at any moment you feel that there's too many vinyasas, of course, with the sun salutations you cannot skip them, but you can adjust them. But during class, if there's too many vinyasas, too much for you, adjust it. Skip them. Yeah? Even take rest. Always take rest if it's getting overwhelming. When is it overwhelming? When you cannot focus on your breath. When you get too many thoughts in your head. So just feel. Be present. Don't push. See where the body wants to flow to. On your next inhale, gaze comes forward, bend knees, exhale, hop or float forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come in Utkatasana. Exhale, hand to heart. I step a tiny little bit back. Hands go down. And then from here, your weight travels to your right leg. Left knee, don't dip the hip. We're not waiting for the bus, so you stand here and your left heel comes up. Then turn your left knee out, so it's external rotation. From here, lift your left leg and place it with a dorsiflexed foot, like a Charlie Chaplin foot, over your right knee, just above it. Then from here, hands go to prayer, lengthen the chest, bend your right knee, and then shift your hips back. So this part of the belly becomes longer. So now you shift any amount, keep this foot nicely dorsally flexed to keep your knee protected. And then you go down. The tendency is to round the spine. Don't do this one. Look how deep I am. Oh yeah, but this is my first one. I don't care about depth. I care about what I feel in my left hip. And so must you. Just explore the range of motion. Tuck this tailbone back, hips back, front of the hips back. If you can go lower, go lower. And then from here, maybe, I'm going to say place those hands. Maybe you have to let go of the leg first and then place your hands. Inhale, lift your left leg nice and high. Exhale, step this left foot far back. Placing the left knee down. And inhale, rise those arms, leaning onto your left knee. So everything is in line with your back leg. Then from there, feel the front of the foot, the ball and the heel. So you're not leaning on the heel, you're not leaning on the ball of the foot. And then pull yourself forward. Don't start arching your back. So here you're nice in line. Keep this line from the spine and lean forward. Start feeling where you feel it. Probably your left hip flexor. And once you're here, maybe you take your hands behind your back, interlacing those fingers, and reach those hands back. If you want more, you can undo the index fingers, and then place the index finger on the inside of your left leg. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach the chest. Keep the pull from the right foot. Exhale, coming back. Inhale, reach those arms nice and high. Exhale, place those hands, lifting the left knee. Step back to high plank. Now shift your heels and the weight forward, then lower down. Inhale your option, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, moving to downward facing. 2 cycles of breath here, settle in. Release the neck. Your inhale, gaze forward. Lift the heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or float. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, arms sideways, lengthen. Tailbone down, ribcage away from hips. Enormous length. Hands through Samasthiti. Keep the hips leveled. Lift your right heel off the floor. Turn your right knee out. External rotation. Lifting the right leg, keep the breath, and dorsiflex, and lift it just above your left knee. Hands go into your heart. Press for balance. Inhale, lengthen to create room in your spine. Bend your left knee in the exhale. Shift your bum back. Don't tuck your tailbone. Lift the sit bones back. And you might feel dorsiflex, extension through this left heel. Yeah, and then you feel where you can go to. It's the first time you do this one, so don't worry if you don't get your elbow down. That's not the goal. It's the work from the outer hip to open in softness. Give it body style. Yes. Then if you can go lower, you can go lower, but maybe you have to let the leg go first and then fingertips down. Inhale, rising this right leg nice and high. Bend your left knee and step your right foot far back, lowering. Then inhale, reaching those arms and leaning onto your right knee. Everything nice in line, torso over your right knee. Feel your left foot, the whole foot. And then move through, pulling the heel, and you move forward. Don't let the bandhas go. Hollow back is not what I'm looking for. Then you feel your lower back. I want you to feel it in your right hip flexor. So move forward. Maybe you come in and out of it. We're here a while. Lengthen the spine. Tucking those tailbone under. Belly draws nicely deeply in. Arms reach up. Strong arms. I like straight arms. Then interlace those hands behind you on an exhale. Inhale, reaching those arms back and lifting chest. Exhale, head comes last. So take your head back. If you want more, undo the fingers, the index fingers, and place them on the inside of the back of your thigh. Inhale again, lift. And then maybe the head goes back. Move the shoulder blades towards one another. Belly draws in. Inhale, reach those arms. Exhale, framing the front foot. Lifting your right knee off the floor, stepping back, and then exhale, chaturanga. Don't change the hand position. Inhale, coming up to cobra, upward facing. Exhale, moving back, downward facing. 2 cycles here. Inhale, gaze forward, lift heels. Exhale, bend or crouch the legs and jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come in Utkatasana. And then from here, lifting the left leg. Yes, externally rotate. Bring it over to your right knee. Dorsiflex. Stretch the heel out, the toes towards your left knee. And then shift your hips back. Hands go into prayer. Press the knees out and down from the left bent knee. And then you go slowly down. Any amount. Probably you feel that you can go a little deeper, which is nice, but not the goal. Draw that belly in. Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, active. Reach that heart forward, don't round your upper back. And then from there, just do the previous one, or take the fingertips, and then going down with this left leg, and then reach it on the inhale up. Bend your front knee and step your left foot back, lower the left knee. Inhale, sweeping, coming on to the left knee, leaning. Exhale, draw yourself all the way forward. Keep those hips square, hug, even if the legs are scissored, hug the inseams towards one another. Yes. Interlace on the exhale your fingers. Inhale, lift the chest, only the chest. Exhale, the head can go back. Breathe. If you lose balance here, that's fine. Just make sure you stick out your hand there. And work more with bandhas. Inhale, reaching those arms up. Exhale, framing front foot and stepping back high to low plank. Open exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, moving back downwards. 2 cycles here. Draw belly in. Turn. Make the turning action. Right hand counterclockwise, left hand counterclockwise. Inhale, reach forward, look forward. Bend your knees on the exhale, end of the exhale, you hop. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come in Utkatasana on the inhale, arms rise. Weight in the heel. And then from here, the right heel lifts. Open the right leg. Dorsiflex, place the arm to your left knee. Hands towards heart center. Shift your buttocks back, long spine. Draw belly in. Then from here, lean forward any amount. See where you can go to. Breathe. Shoulders away from ears. Long neck. spine and neck vertebrae are in one line. So don't start arching. Then maybe reach those hands down under the right leg. On the inhale, reach this right leg nice and high. Exhale, bend your front knee, step your right foot back and lower all the way onto the knee. Inhale, reaching those arms, lean onto your right knee. Exhale, pull with your left heel to move the hips forward and down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, interlace those fingers behind your back. Inhale, reach the chest, chin onto your chest bone, not up yet. And then exhale, bring the gaze up. Great. Inhale, arms sweep up, head comes back. Exhale, framing front foot, step back and forward and down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Let your head relax, let the breath be flowing. Feel the swirls, the sensations in the body, and calm the mind. On your next inhale, gaze forward, lift heels, bend on the exhale, end of the exhale, you hop forward, halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold, root to rise, arm sideways, lengthen. Hands go to heart center, I step a tiny bit back, so I have room for my hands onto my mat. Left knee, don't dip your hip. So left knee bends, left heel lifts. Turn. External rotation, left thigh. Lift it up, dorsiflex the heel, and just sit again. Now from here, lengthen the spine. Exhale, shift the buttocks back. Lean forward with strong belly. Then from here you go down as far as you can. You can stay here. Or if you want, you can reach those fingertips, lift up your right heel and sink. Keep the breath. Now you need to reset your hands and just see where you can be. Bring the fingers outside of your hips, squeeze your mula bandha and try to sit upright as best as you can. This is a difficult one. I fall all the time. Then from there, you lift one hand, or maybe two. I went too fast. And just see if you can hold it for a little bit. Then slowly bring your hands back. And then from here, hands go forward. Really forward how we came in, so the left elbow is in front of your left shin. And then you go to straighten. If you went onto your toes, down, that's fine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bring the left knee out and back. So out to the left side and back to the back side of the wall. Release your head, dorsiflexed foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping this left leg back. Lift it up on an inhale. Exhale, bend. Left knee goes down. Inhale, rise those arms back to the previous pose, so it doesn't matter if you did do it or not. And then exhale, lean your hips forward and down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, interlace those fingers. Keep the chin tucked. Then inhale, only chest up. Exhale, you lean back, release the head. So that's one of the 5%. Great. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, framing the front foot, tend the fingertips like spider. Shift your weight back, half Hanuman. So half Hanuman, my right hip wants to move forward, so I get out of my hamstring. Don't. Draw this right hip back next to the left hip. Now my spine, when I do it, my spine wants to round, so take length in the spine. Maybe walk your hands closer. So if your spine is straight, you're doing the pose. Lengthen. Shift your hip back. Then from here, shift yourself forward. Hands frame the front foot. Step back on the exhale and lower down on the exhale. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Your next inhale, gaze forward, lift heels. At the exhale, start bending. End of the exhale, hop forward. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, root to rise, arms sideways, lengthen. Exhale, hands through heart center. Right knee bends, right heel lifts. Open up. Lift the right leg, dorsiflex the foot and place it. Then from here, bend the left knee, hips shift back, sternum still forward, and then sternum with the breath you go down. If you can stay here, or you can lower. And then from here, I didn't step back, so I step a little back. You can lower and place your fingertips onto the floor. Lift your left heel, go down all the way. And then the right hand goes outside of your right hip, and your left hand goes onto your left hip. Then, whoa, this is the difficult side. Lengthen, tighten what you can tighten, and bring one hand, maybe a finger, onto the floor, maybe both hands. Just try a little bit. It's okay if you fall, if you balance and fly around. Make sure there's nobody standing around you, so you're still being nice. Woo. And then from here, bring the right hand in front, the left hand in front. On the exhale, you fold halfway. Ooh. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, undo the crossing. Inhale, lift this right leg all the way up. Bend at the front knee, the left one, and place your right knee down. Adjust if you have to. Maybe the left foot comes really far towards your left foot. Right foot, left foot to right foot. And then from here on the exhale, interlace those fingers. On the inhale, puff up the chest, but chin stays tucked. And then exhale, open the throat. Don't jam your head back. Breathe. Inhale, sweep those arms sideways and up. Exhale, frame the front foot, but tense the fingertips. Shifting back in half Hanuman. Draw the belly in and reach the chest forward, shoulders into the socket, so remain a long neck. Yes. You can always draw your hands closer if it feels that your hands are too far forward and therefore you start rounding. So, a couple more breaths. Draw your left hip next to the right. Lengthen. Maybe go a little deeper. Whatever the body tells you. And then shifting your weight onto your left foot. Lifting the right knee off the floor. Step your left foot next to the right. Chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale upward. Exhale. Move back to the downward. Placing your knees onto the floor. And then I'm going to turn, so I'm not flashing anybody. And I double my mat. And I go outside in a diagonal. So I have enough cushioning underneath my bony knees. And then you spread the knees as wide as you can. Then make sure that your shin bone and the ankle is in one line. So not towards the midline of your body, but out. Then you make also sure that you have your shoulders pressed in. Draw that belly in. And then you shimmy, shimmy, shimmy your knees a little bit more out till you feel a little bit on the adductors, a little bit of stretch. Then what we want to do is arch the back. Don't arch your back. Belly draws in. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Now from here, with the knees pressing down, so get out of your hollow spine, make it a flat spine. So tuck your tailbone, it's not really tucking under, but lengthen your tailbone in this vertebrae of your spine and not in an arch. Then from here, shift your weight a little bit back and you feel more tension occurring. Keep pressing into the knees and feel the inside, the adductors. Then if you're here, you can lean forward. At first it will feel nice because you shift a little bit forward with the hips. And then draw the belly in and lengthen the tailbone. So don't move the tailbone up, then you get out of the adductors. We're working on the inside of the groin. And then maybe you can even lay your chest closer and closer to the floor. You can also place a block so you have something to reach towards. Yes. And now move your buttocks a little bit more towards your heels. Oof. Now breathe. You find your maximum. Now settle in. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep pressing with those hands. Don't arch the back. So tuck your tailbone under, draw the belly in. Yes, good. 2 more cycles of breath. On your next inhale, lift your chest, move your hands closer, and then take the toes, the tippy toes towards one another. I hope they're still on the mat. Mine are just. And sit your buttocks onto your heels. Walk the hands even closer. So now, of course, I want to arch my back because it feels good. So I'm going not to do that. So tuck your tailbone under or straight down and then draw that belly in. And now you have a different feel in the groin. Yeah? So from here, keep those toes touching and remain touching. Don't let them open. Now from here, any amount, you walk forward. Keep the buttocks onto your heels and you walk forward. Be strong in the belly. Strong in the bandhas. If you let them go, no problem, but pick them back up. And then see where you can go. Remember, it's not about the depth that you have. Watch your toes. I need to touch them again. And then reach the chest forward. It's about the feel. And just find your boundary, your woolen edge. Wool has a little bit stretch, so don't go for the iron wire. Go for the woolen stretch and just surrender into this pose. Lengthen the tailbone towards the back of the mat if it would be in a long line. Draw the belly in. You can place your forehead onto the floor. You can place your chin if that's uncomfortable. Look to the side. Each side is fine. Keep pressing with those hands into the floor. And inhale, slowly get out of the pose. Exhale, walk yourself back. And keep the breath. Now from here, let those knees come together and onto your mat again. Turn back to the regular front of the mat. Oof. So from this point, tuck your toes. We're going to do tic-tacs. Tic-tacs, not the real ones, but the tic-tacs with the knees, moving all the way back. So tuck your toes, make sure that your pinky toe, the little one, is listening to. Oh, I did skip drum. Jump rope, I feel it. Let's see what I make of this one. You can have your hands for balance in front. If you want more obstacles in life, then take it into your prayer hands in front of your chest. From here, hug the legs in, draw the belly nicely in, get tall, and then from here, lift the knees. And then from there, shift your heels down. Then from here, lift back onto the toes. Now the hard part comes, lean back, but move the knees forward. Don't point or just under control. Yes. Moving back in. Exhale out. Inhale up. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale out. Inhale up. Exhale out. Make it softer. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Yes. Keep pressing. Don't let the elbows split out. It's okay that the shoulders pop up. Okay, stay here. Great. Hands go forward. Make sure you have some room in front of you. And I'm stepping this nicely back. The hands go back. Make sure it's shoulder width apart, and then let the knees go outside. Then lift yourself a little up. Shift yourself forward so you're really onto the tippy toes. Hug the elbows with your knees and press with the elbows, hugging the inside of your knees. And then round your spine and titter-totter forward, so just balancing. Keep the feet, the toes together, and come up into your crow. 1. Try it again. 3. Shoulders depress. 4. Look forward. And 5. You can come down, nice and easy. If you just had balancing one foot off the floor is fine. I hope you alternate a bit. And maybe it's just titter-totter. If you're scared, take a pillow in front. And then from here again, take the heels together, let the toes turn out, and you split the knees open. Then you find your mid-center, and I feel wobbly. My feet don't like it. I'm not allowed to jump again with my skipping rope. Then, hands go in front, maybe cross the thumbs, maybe cross the fingers, not the index fingers. Steeple pose. Lengthen. Only way is up, not forward enough. Only way is up. Undo the heels, hands to heart center. Take a step forward onto your mat. Just clearing it all off. Inhale, Vinyasa. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, flat up. Exhale, step, float or hop back and lower. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, moving back, downward facing. Step your feet together. This way you're balanced when your feet is going to lift. Right leg is lifting up into the sky. Keep your feet pointing down so the hip is next to the other hip. Then bring the knee in towards your right tricep. Bring it back on the inhale. 3-legged dog. Exhale, tiger curl and touch your tricep. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, depress the shoulders this time when you touch your knee onto and keep the heel really high and lifted. Inhale, lengthen. One more. Heel in, knee in, keep the heel in, depress the shoulders into the socket, nice and safe, weight bearing. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it through the center and step it next to your right thumb. Right foot turns, left foot turns out 90 degrees and windmill those arms. Another hip opener. Straighten from knee, press into your heel, and then place the ball of the foot down. Now, hip square, not this hip pointing up and this one pointing down. Keep the hips nice and square, arms are in front, and bend. Don't lean forward, just bend. Bend the front one. So stay with the center line, right above your tailbone. Then lengthen yourself forward. Bring your right hand or elbow onto the thigh or the hand on the inside. or fingertips, left hand. Now scoot your right hip under, lengthen the inhale the crown towards the front of the mat, and on the exhale your left hand is the gazing point. Spiral the chest up towards the sky, ceiling. Keep the breath. If you want more, rotate the left arm a quarter over your left ear, and then start rotating again. Strong back leg, opening the chest, opening the hips. Exhale, hands on the inside, lift your left heel, and step your left knee down. Then from here, half Hanuman. Maybe you want to come a little up because then your back is more straight. Then maybe you can bend the elbow a little bit and go deeper. It's okay if you're on the inside of your leg. Yes. Then from here, take your right hand on the outside and shift your right heel forward. Make also sure that your left knee can go back, and maybe you go in full Hanuman, whichever variation that is. So once you're here, maybe you have a stack of blocks or a block, and just swivel from right to left. Now watch your back leg. Make sure that the line of the knee, the distance between the knee and the mat, is the same between the ankle and the outside of the mat. So you're not going in a diagonal or crisscross. Then from here, if you want, you can go forward any amount or stay upright. Try to calm the breath. See what you can do here. Maybe shoulders press, lengthening, lifting yourself all the way back up. Taking yourself a little bit out of the pose. So left toe stuck under, lifting the knees, and bring yourself back to a downward facing dog. Wiggle it out. Wiggle it out. Now you're in downward facing dog again. So let's see what we can do on this side. Step your feet together if you're done with your wiggles. Release your neck. And then inhale, left leg. Keep the feet dorsiflexed, hip next to each other. Don't open. Draw the left hip in. And then point the foot. Bring the heel in towards the buttocks. Tiger curl in. Touch your triceps. Look forward. Shoulders depress. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Touch. Inhale, lengthen. Keep that heel really close to your buttocks. Knee very close to your chest. Yes, a little fanting here. That's good. Keep the breath nice and flowy. One more. Lift up. Hip square. Knee in. Touch your tricep. Last one on the inhale. Three-legged dog. And now bring it through middle. And then from there, step your left foot down. Then, right foot turns out 90 degrees. Windmill those arms, come in the midline of your body. Bend. Looking over, so not right hip up and the left hip down. Looks the same, but feels totally different. So right hip down, shift your left knee over your left ankle, and don't let it collapse in. Turn it out. Then, straighten the front one. Now you feel if you lean a little bit more. I have that tendency a lot. So I need to go back, then place the ball of the foot, and then sink in one piece, only bending from knee. I did not change the upper body, then look over. Hands are shoulder width and shoulder height. Not shoulder width, shoulder height. So instead of being here, drop your shoulders. So drop them more. If you see your hands going floating up, you need to see your whole arm. Then chest opens. Yes. Lean forward. Hand can go on the elbow and knee, or fingertips onto the floor or the whole hand. Lifting on the inhale, right arm. On the exhale, gaze up towards the right fingertips. Now spiral. Keep the breath and spiral the chest open. hug the left shoulder into your left inner knee. So you open this knee. You feel that this is a hip opener. If you want more, go for more. Circle this right arm over your right earlobe and then open. So you're forming one diagonal from the tips of the fingers to the right side, outside of my ankle. Exhale, gaze down, hands down on the inside of the foot. Turn your right heel upwards, plant your right knee. Inhale here to reset your shoulders. Exhale, half Hanuman. Walk your hands closer if you have to. Inhale and exhale. Shift your bum back. Feel the back side of your left leg, your hamstrings. The three parts, not a tree, but three parts of your hamstring. So it's not one solid muscle what's running there. It's existing out of three parts. So if you want to wiggle a little bit, you might feel the shift in your hamstring. So you take them all. You know where you're going in your version of your Hanuman, but you have always the option to stay here. Then take your left hand on the outside on an in-breath or an out-breath. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, get light on this left foot and slide it forward. Lifting up your right knee and wiggle your foot back. Any amount, point the foot. Then walk your hands closer, maybe placing a block underneath the left thigh. And see where you can wiggle to go into your full Hanuman of today. And that does not mean that you have to touch your pelvic floor onto the mat. It's your version. Hanuman is Hanuman. Monkey, king ape, jumping for the mango. He thinks it's a mango. It was actually the sun. Yes. Then curling the toes under. Hands go flat. Give yourself a little space. Draw it all back in. Wiggle it out. Oof. Head, neck, everything. Placing your knees onto the floor, crisscrossing your ankles or take them out to the side to one side if this feels uncomfortable. And then seated staff pose. Make sure that the kneecaps are engaged, but that the knee pits stay lifted off the floor. So don't over jam it. Ballerinas have the tendency to do it, so overstretch. You want to have tension in the front of the thighs to protect also the joints. The knee joints in this case. Arms sweep up on the inhale. Seated step pose, maybe steeple pose. Interlace the fingers except the index finger. Reach the chest forward and sit as if you can be pulling on a string upward. Really try to get those biceps next to your ears and move them back in your chest forward. Get straight in those arms. You have the strength because you have steeple pose, so you have a little bit more strength to do it on your own strength. Then once you're there, I'm going to ask you to rotate instead of like having the armpits open, rotate those armpits so the outer arms, the triceps forward. Yes, you can lift the shoulder heads up next to your ears if you do this action. Draw that belly in. Yes, bring the hands forward. Stay here wherever they land. Inhale, reach the chest. Keep the toes pointing toward your nose. And then exhale, fold. So not holding the legs. Now chin tuck slightly so the vertebrae of the neck can be long. There will be slight rounding in your lower back, maybe slightly in the mid back. But deep press the shoulders into the sockets. Not much, but just a little. So you keep room between your lower jaw and your shoulders.
Draw the belly in to create more room so you have the ability to go over your hips. That's the whole thing. If I'm here and I don't do anything with my belly, I will be stuck here because I didn't create room. So from here, lift belly in, Uddiyana Bandha, and then I can fold a little bit deeper. So just creating the room for my hips and the empty belly. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, moving back. Okay, so open your feet a little bit and then draw the right knee in. Right heel on the height of your sit bone, not your pubic bone, because then the only thing wants to happen is opening up. So you want to have the midline of your femur bone and therefore also the sit bone. So there's a space in between. Then from here, left hand, inhale, reach. Exhale, option, hug the left elbow around the right knee. If you have more room, then hug the elbow high or low. Inhale again, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, look over. Execute some pressure. Press this left elbow into the right thigh and move it over. This is a half standing pose because you're standing on this one, and a half seated one because you sit on. If your right sit bone wants to lift, let it lift. Yeah, it's both okay. If you find after a couple breaths that you have more room, close the gap in between your chest and your left thigh. Right thigh. Left chest and right thigh. Then turn, you can help this hand. Turn this hand back and around. Right hand goes high to the shoulders. And then take the interlacement. Hands, fingers, wrist. Inhale again to create length. And exhale, stamp this right foot down. Slowly. Inhale, release. And this one is not for everybody, so let's see. I'm going to turn to the back of my mat. Right hand on the mat. And I'm going to pivot, but I keep my left elbow onto my right knee. Then lean forward, shoulders into the socket. So we did crow, and then lift. Coming down, turning back, being in the first variation or an easier variation. So don't look down, look forward when you try. And you feel your right obliques firing on. And then you're here. So if you did it, only this, fine. Then you're back. Nothing happened. Then inhale, sweeping. Exhale, bring the foot forward and down. And then you go again. Hands next to the body. Fingertips facing forward. Turn. Your elbow pits forward. Lift the chest. If you have short arms, you can do this with the fist. You get a little bit more length. Yeah, if you have long arms, take them slightly more out. Yeah? So, but what you want to have is the hands down or the fist down and turn the elbow pits forward and then reach the chest through. Chin slightly tucks under and look at the tip of your nose. Cross the eyes. Crisscross the eyes. Breathing deeply, full inhales. Ujjayi breathing, if it's in your practice, slight restriction, as if you're whispering. Undo the eyes, close the eyes, let the hands go. Open the legs a little bit, and then take your heel in a straight line towards your left sit bone. Yes. Inhale, right the arm lifts. Exhale, option one, hug. Option 2, elbow high. Option 2, 3, go lower. Left hand behind you on the fingertips. You can remain upright spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn. If your left sit bone wants to lift, be my guest. Stamp your left foot down. Every inhale you lengthen. Every exhale you twist a little deeper. After a while you can of course not go deeper. So then you just inhale, lengthen, and exhale, take a twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, take a twist. So just giving your body a length and a depth. Length and a depth. But of course, don't overdo it. If there is more room, close the gap between your right chest and your left thigh. Lean maybe a little forward, curl your hand, and then right hand goes around and back until this left hand underneath the shoulder and find your fingertips or your shirt. Inhale again. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Dorsiflex your right foot. Be strong. And now, from here, same at the other side. Let the clasp go low. Move your left hand behind your left buttocks. Lifting onto your right heel, left toes. Turn around. Keep their connection with your right elbow and the left knee. Lean, 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 lean. Any amount forward. Maybe the leg wants to lift. Maybe you go for side crow. That's for me this time. And then lengthen. Bring it slowly back. Turn it back. You're in the previous pose, but then a little easier. Nothing happens. And come back. So the left side and the right side may vary in strength, as you could see. And that's okay. Arms sweep up. Exhale, going forward. Now this time you can hold on to your toes, the ball of the foot, or even go around the heels. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Maybe shift your sit bones a little bit more back. Empty your lower abdominal wall to reach over your hip joints and then go deep. The depth is not important. It's what you feel and can remain calm. So don't struggle. Don't fight a pose. Don't fight yourself. Long neck, crown of the head reaching towards the toes, unless you're with your ribcage all the way onto your thighs, then you can look forward towards the toes. Drishti, toes. Bring the shoulders not shrugging up towards your earlobes, but let them go sink into the sockets, not by pressuring because there's no weight bearing, but just by sinking them in. From here, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Hands go back. Bend your knees. Lifting the hips. Hug the inseam of the legs. Look forward. Look forward. And then see what your hips do. Don't let the head go back. That's when the legs are nicely straight out. Press in your arms, feel the strength in your shoulders, shoulder blades, and then lower it down. So, left leg stays long, right leg comes in. We did a lot of hip openers, so we go to a compass pose. It also looks like paradise bird, but paradise bird is standing up and now we can sit. So it's a little easier, but not much. So again, just to feel how our hips feel, take up your right heel, take with your left hand your right heel, and then open the knee. So I'm not jamming this one to here, I'm opening my knee externally.
external. And then I can see if I can just stay here. What my back wants to do is this, nice and round, slouching, no slouching, stay nice and tall, keep the chest lifted. If there is more room, right arm goes around, left elbow goes around the foot, and then you can cradle. So now again, I want to slouch. So if you are slouching, then go back to the previous one. That's fine too. Yeah? So just see whatever you can do, be nice and firm, press the heel out, don't sickle the ankle too much. Watch your ankle, so it's really that your foot steps into your upper arm. So it's not sickling this ankle, not this. So the sole of the foot is facing outward. Yes, and then you know. Great. Now take with your right hand, your right heel, open it up and move it to the back. Move it to the back and move your chest forward. So move it out. The farther it goes back, the nicer. Maybe you want to bring it into your armpit. Yes, the best towel there is, your pants. And then just jam it a little back. Then take your left hand, and then from here, just open and bring it back. Open, bring it back. Open, bring it back. Open, bring it back. You can lean on this hand. So we're stirring in our hip joint with the femur, and we will need it. Then one more time. Right arm goes under. Left arm goes under. And then take it as close as you can be and reach the chest forward. Yes, dorsiflex the foot. Oh, I want to sickle my ankle. Yes, there we are. Good. Open enough, warm enough. Then, you're going to have knee pointing towards your chest, but then open it out to the side. Don't jam this leg, this side of the leg towards you, then you're jamming, you're taking it out of your knee. So you want to open from the hip. That's a rotator cuff. This is a hinge. Open, close, open, close. Yeah? Then right arm reaches up. Exhale, thread the needle. Now slouch your back, round it, and bring your knee farther back. That's why we did the previous one. And try to get it over your shoulder. If it's on your upper arm, you can still do it. Then, this left hand goes over the top of the foot. Take the outside of the pinky. Yes. Right hand can go forward, can go back. If this right hip wants to lift, let it lift at first. But then you start working to placing it down. Now, left elbow leads the movement to straighten or straight-ish the right leg. Yes. Look under your left armpit. And there you are in your compass pose. So if the right sit bone is lifted, yes, and now start bending your left arm. So therefore you bring the leg more in, so it's going to point north. Yeah. So if you feel cramping in your side, that means that you use your muscles 101%. That's impossible. So if it's 100%, you get a cramp. You get stronger. Don't worry about it. It will go away. Yeah? I had it many times. So, and then you're out of the pose, which is nice, and you just place it over. Oh, great. More hip openers. Dorsiflex this foot. Lengthen, lean forward. Maybe you can reach for your ankle, calf muscle, maybe ball of the foot. Doesn't feel nice, but it's okay. Long neck, belly in, shoulders down. Breathe. Slowly release. Bring the knee back up and extend. So, wiggle, wiggle. We're winding down, but we have this other side peak pose still. Bring the left knee in. Okay. Feel that your sit bones are leveled and on the floor. And this can happen. That's okay. In order to straighten the leg, it will go out as well. That's fine. You can lift this left hip bone. Move yourself.
left shin bone, parallel to the floor. Right hand takes the heel, push it a little in. Don't start jamming this hand to this side. You don't want to take it out of the knee. You want to take it out of the hip joint. So open with the left hand, the knee, and then bring it a little closer. Watch out for sickling in the ankle, which is something like this. So you keep it strong by dorsiflexing it, and then just move it from side to side. So what you want to have is like basically parallel, like a baby. You're not going to have a baby swinging this way, right? You always keep it nice and close and then like this. So see it as your leg is a baby and the baby does not want to go there. Maybe at first, if you're just a new mom or new dad or a new uncle, and then you try to keep it close to your heart. If it's working and it's nice and parallel, take the left elbow around and take the right elbow around your foot. Make sure there's no sickling going on. So the sole of the foot is not facing towards me, it's facing outward. And then lift the heel away so it's coming higher on chest height. So feel if this is possible for you. Straighten the back as much as possible. Then take with your left hand the left outside of your foot, so you go over the top. And then from there you're going to swing it around. So you feel that you're pivoting a little bit onto your left sit bone, because that's the leg that's moving. Crack, crack. Me too. Cracking and popping, I say, is good wood. If it makes sounds, it's working. It isn't painful, right? No. Then you know it's good. Okay, there we are. So bring it back in front. And then left arm goes under, if possible. Otherwise go back to the previous one. And then right arm. Bring your chest as close as possible. Sit upright as possible, as tall as possible. Yes. Have a shaky hand. I'm working. Yes. Then from here, take the sole of the foot to the front of the mat. Knee very close to your armpit. And then just bring it in and back. So you want to peep the knee to the other side of your back. Not in front, as far back as you want. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, there we are. Right hand goes over the top of your left foot. Take the outside of the pinky side of the foot, the sharp knife side. Left arm goes up. Now slouch your back. Thread the needle with the left arm. Take your calf muscle, lift the leg a little higher, maybe switch the grip of the right hand and round your spine. Then flex your foot. Now it will stay. Use your belly. Right hand over the left top of the foot. Take the outside. Inhale. I'm going to straighten my spine and I'm going to straighten also my right leg. Peel the chest through the right arm, and then when you're here, then don't think you're finished. Start pulling, or not pulling yet, strengthening your right elbow. So you move the leg closer, and maybe your head can lay onto your shin bone. Compass pose. Yes, letting it go. Easy how you came in. Not easy at all, that's mean for me to say. Dorsiflex the foot, bring it over your right knee. Both feet are flexed. Maybe reset your sit bone, maybe it was lifted, so place it next to the other one. Lengthen on the inhale, arms go up. Exhale, go forward.
Yes, you can rest the hands onto the floor, otherwise it's too much tension and you can sink into a posture and then let go if the hands are touching and we have support underneath us. So on this side there was no cramping I saw. So maybe your left side is a little bit stronger. Or maybe it's a little bit more flexible that side. That's possible. So then now you know what cramp is. As 101% contraction. Lifting nicely up. Undoing the knee. Extending. Just wiggling it out. And we go for the belly. So we go lower and lower and lower. So roll down. And then you take your feet. You bend at the knees and you let the butterfly appear. Soles of the feet together. Now listen carefully. I'm not going to take my head and I'm going to move forward through my knees. No. I'm going to take my hands up over my head and then I interlace my fingers behind my skull. And first I let the elbows split open like a butterfly. So we have two butterflies, one from the legs, one from the arms. Then I feel that my chin is slightly tucked. I don't want it. So I lift up my head and I look back. I keep my eyes closed because the light is bright. Then you're going to knit your elbows towards one another. And you lift your head a tiny bit. So now I have those, the horse that's walking in the street and does not get scared from the traffic. They have those little things outside of their eyes. Well, that's your elbows right now. So look back. Look back. So that means the chin goes away from your chest. Yes. So I want you to keep a long neck. Now bring the elbows together. Hold a tennis ball or a ping pong ball in between them. Now let your head rest into the hammock of your hands. Look back. Yes, chin away from chest bone. And now lift up. Just a tiny bit. Yes, and go down again. Up, down. Watch your elbows, ping pong ball or tennis ball. Let your head rest into the hammock of your hands. Don't let the legs, they are unable to help you. So not the quads can help you or the hip flexors. So you take it really out. So make sure, out of your belly. So make sure that you have the neck not here, because then I look forward and I see my belly button. I don't want to see my belly button. I go on my pinky and my ring finger and pluck it, and then I go up, 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 up. Look back. Enormous space in between your chin and your chest. It's nice and long. Keeping up, 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 up. There we go. 10. 5. 10 again. Keep your breath. You can do even Kapalabhati. 10 again. Open the neck, front of the neck, so your throat. Make the hammock heavy. Put your head in the hammock of your hands. And again, last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the elbows, take a nice breath, relax your neck, take the hands out of underneath. If there was a little tension, draw your head from right to left or the other way around, doesn't really matter, just let them go around. So what you do with this exercise, so now just look forward through me and listen, and then you feel that your quads did not do anything, your hip flexors did not do anything, but you took your engagement from the belly, from above the pubic bone towards the lower ribs. And now when you lift your head, you feel tension in your neck. So this, by taking the hammock behind, taking the elbows really close, means that you have only used the rectus, so the front of the abdominal wall. Yes. And like this, if you're here, the neck gets a little there, because the head is heavy. So
Bring your knees together. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Place your head back onto the floor. Feet up. Happy baby. Take the outside of your ankles. If you can go higher, take the outside edges of the feet. And then leave your lower back onto the floor. Don't do this one. So don't lift your lower back and then only lay on your mid back. Bring the tailbone down and bring now shoulders into the socket. And you feel that the pressure is moving the knees down. Then extend one leg, look to that one side, right side first, and bend it back. Gaze back. Look to the left, extend the left leg. Happy rolling baby. And move back. 2 more times. 1. Extend your tailbone down. 1. 2. Last one. And last one, left side. Move it back. Take the soles of the feet together. Roll one more time all the way up towards the ball of the foot. Maybe you can shake with the toes your own hair. So shift them over the crown. Nice open hips. If your lower back lifts, that's fine, but keep the belly pulled in. And okay. Feet down. Extend. Crisscross. Rolling up in 1s or in 4. 1. 2. 3. And 4. Stay upright. Now turn around. We're going for our resting pose. Other crossing of the ankle. Rolling down for 4 for 1. 1. 2. 3. And last one, stay down. Maybe feel your lower back. Feet on the outer edges of the mat. Let your knees drop. Restorative resting pose. Or hand palms facing up. Settle your shoulders nicely in. Extend those legs, mat width. And rest. Let your breath getting calmer, soothing breath. Let your heart raise, calm down. Let your body get at ease, resting onto the mat. Give your mind an easy task to follow. Follow your breath. Feel your inhale. Observe your exhale. Sink into the mat. Surrender and rest. The same sounds will sound from the singing bowl to get you back out of your resting pose. Enjoy.
into your mat. Feeling the breath flowing through the nostrils into the lungs. Let the face be relaxed, the body still resting. And bring your awareness from the breath all the way down to your extremities. Take a couple of breaths for it to go down, down, down into your entrails, or are you with your awareness at your toes and at your feet. Then moving the toes, the fingers, small movements at first. Then starting bigger, circling the ankles, circling the wrist, moving the forearms, bending at the elbows and the knees, moving your thighs, upper arms, shoulders, hips. Now, move in a way how you want to. Maybe you want to hug the knees in and make a little ball of yourself. Maybe you want to extend the arms above your head and the toes far away from you. Maybe you want to swing from side to side with the knees, with bent knees. Do whatever is most comfortable. Follow your intuition. Feel your body after you have worked in great presence, concentration, doing what the body can do for you today. Honoring that. And then when you make all the movements, turn to your right side. A little snooze moment. And coming in an upright position, a seated position of your choice. You did a lot of hip openers, so maybe it's okay for you to come in lotus. If the knee is really high up, take a block or a book underneath it so you're supported. And otherwise, cross-legged, warrior seat is fine. Inhale, bring the chest forward, rotate the shoulder blades down and narrowing towards the spine. Gaze goes up. Exhale, round the spine, however you see that, draw the belly in. One more time, arching the spine, take a deep breath in. Exhale, back to center. Take the hands towards your heart, humble towards your heart. The wisdom from within. The head is being put onto the body in line with your center of the body. Let the rest of the day be a good day. Bring the hands in front of your third eye and bring it towards the mouth and bring it towards the heart. Gratitude, kindness, warmth.